Welcome to Blackboard Intermediate. This is our summer training series. My name is Carla McKenzie, and I'm the instructional technologist for Morton College. Before we begin, there's a few housekeeping items. You can certainly minimize your notifications and any distractions. If you click the purple tab in the lower right corner, slide over here to the gear, which is the My Settings panel, and then you can change your notification settings, deselecting the notifications that may come up when a participant leaves or joins the session or posts a chat message. In addition, occasionally I will ask some digital feedback. If you're out there, please do click the silhouette, which is in the lower middle of your screen, and then this submenu opens and you can provide some digital feedback to let me know how you're doing out there. Also, if there's anything that's illegible on the screen, you're welcome to click the magnifying glass in the top left corner, and then this will open up a panel, and you are certainly welcome to zoom in or out on any content that I present today. Our session should run 1.5 hours. I will leave 15 minutes of question answer at the end. Our style today will be to present content, then demonstrate. Questions can be typed directly into the chat. I will periodically try to answer those questions. This course does assume basic prior knowledge of Blackboard, and you're welcome to follow up with me via email at carla.mckenzie@morton.com. There certainly are training guides and handouts available. Thank you so much for joining. Our agenda today will be to learn navigation techniques, upload some advanced content in Blackboard, hopefully some things you haven't done before. We're also going to create groups, smart views, discussion forums, and grading submissions. An introduction to the smart views, but they're great. Smart views are covered extensively in the Grade Center Essentials course. With no further ado, we'll go ahead and begin with our navigation techniques. There is a chevron in the upper left corner near your course name. This little drop down will allow you to jump to another course. You can jump to the same place and land where you are in the resulting course. So for example, if you're in the announcement section of your current course, you can go to the announcement section of another course. If you're in the grade center of your current course, you'll land in the grade center of your resulting course. So they're kind of cool to be able to jump quickly throughout one course to another. Another navigation technique that's very useful is breadcrumbs. So if you want to know exactly where you are in the course at all times and be able to jump back and forth to various content areas, you can look at the breadcrumbs at the top of the course. And then anyone with the line is actually a link. The one without the line is the one that you're currently in now. Any others are where you've come from. So you're welcome to reduce the number of actions that you need to take in order to get to a higher level page. That's the purpose of using these navigation techniques, specifically the breadcrumbs. You can also upload some advanced content. So many of you are familiar with uploading files and agendas and items and images and videos. So I will upload some of this course content today. And I will also upload a test and an assignment and a discussion board. So I do want you to know not only how to create those, but also how to incorporate those into your content areas. So first, with regard to creating an item, if you haven't used that before, an item is the only content type that you create directly in Blackboard. So for example, most of our other content types are created in Word or PowerPoint or some other application, but this one is created directly in Blackboard. You would type a name and then you would type whatever it is you want to show. So in this case, it might be an agenda or maybe it's a lesson objectives. In addition, there are some default settings that sometimes you may or may not want to change. You can add a file to the agenda or any item that you type, or you can permit users to view it. The default is, actually, I believe the default is no. I must have changed mine to yes. You can track the number of views. The default is no, or you can hide the content item for another date. Display it in the future. In addition, you can add a file, which is the simplest of all, where you click that content area in your course menu. Then you click build content to get a new page, and you would select file. All you need to do is type the name of the file and browse for the file. So I wanted to shorten that up for you. Of course, there are additional options if you would like to use those. Permit users to use this content? Yes, you can. Track the number of views? No. And then display at some point in the future, you can set those dates as well. So we go a little faster here because these are the standard options that you'll see on all of your content types. You can also add an image, which you would follow those same procedures in locating the content area, clicking the build content button, select image, and then all you need to do is type the name of the image and browse for it, just like you would a file. And then there are some additional default options that you don't need to change unless you want to with regard to the image, which is so similar to a file. You can also create a link to another web page. You would follow those same procedures, of course, type the name of the link, and then I would paste in the URL for the link right here. You can type a description, but for the most part, as long as you have the name of the link and the URL, you're welcome to click submit at that time. You can also attach a file, and then you can leave those standard options for the defaults as to hide the link or make it available at a future date or track the number of views. Creating assignments. I really like assignments because they save you as the instructor so many steps. They automatically create a column in the grade center, and they automatically create a submission folder for students to return assignments to you. Type the name of the assignment. You can post any instructions here. You can add a file. So you can put some preliminary instructions here. You can add a file. You can also give it a due date. In addition, you would put the points possible. You can attach a rubric. You can change any of these details. So a group submission versus an individual submission, grading options, so to speak, the way that you display the grades, the primary display or the secondary display, whether you want to display a score or a letter or a percentage, etc. And then this one, a grading option is if you want someone else to grade. So you can delegate grading to another individual. Could also be to a specific TA. And then, of course, there's some options here available, those standard options to make that assignment available or limit its availability. You can also upload some YouTube videos. So you would go to that same content item and select YouTube video, type the topic here and do a search and select your video. So I'm actually going to demonstrate all of those at this time. A couple of these you probably have seen in the past. So allow me to share my screen with you. And so here we are. This is my course. Notice the navigation right up here, course to course navigation. I'm going to jump in another section or another course of mine. Now I'm in my grade section and I jump to another course, and that's going to put me in the grade section of my other course. So I'm in the faculty course and I'm going to jump to the Blackboard introduction. There we go. So it's harder for Blackboard to jump to a specific content area. Very easy for it to jump into something that's already known and created, such as announcements. So if I'm in the announcements section and I want to jump to the announcements section of the other course, it has no problem doing that. It's the content areas that, it may or may not jump to. How about sending an email in this course, and I want to jump to sending an email in my other course, and I'm right here in the same place. So any of Blackboard's tools that it recognizes and can easily jump to, it will certainly do so. So let me go back to my course, and then I want to show you some additional navigation. I have some folders here: assignment, another jump folder, another jump folder. So notice I'm a couple of folders in: jump folder 2, jump folder 1, and then I have some links here that are hidden. I'm going to show those. So I can go to any one of these sections. Now you may be thinking, oh, here's week 3. I can just click that here. Yes, but this assignments, I don't know where I would be. I would have 2 clicks if I had to click week 3 here, then the assignments, and then another jump folder. Whereas here, I can just jump to that jump folder. Here, I can just jump to the assignments that I have. So I just want you to know that the course-to-course navigation, which is here, or just the navigation within your same course using breadcrumbs, is up here at the top. That's very useful as well. So let me go on to create a content area. This is going to be my week 4. I will make it available. And I'm going to click my week 4. Before I do, I'm going to pull it up to where I need it to be, which is right here under week 3. Notice there's no content in here currently. I'm going to click it and add an agenda, which is right here. Go ahead and copy this agenda from here, but I'm going to add more content items. So here it says posted to get to know you. So I'm going to do that first. I'm not going to attach a file or change the standard options. There's my agenda. I'm also going to post to the discussion forum. So I'm going to show them the discussion forum right here. Here's my get to know you discussion forum. Click next. I don't need to change anything. Click submit. So I have the discussion forum right here out there. If I want them to post to it, I'm going to give it to them right here so they can do so. And since this is intermediate, notice that I have a discussion forum tool link right here on my course menu, as does I have a send email tool link. So I do want you to utilize everything that you know in Blackboard, because this is the intermediate course. So you should definitely have your course menus to be customized to your liking and what's best for your students. So I have an agenda. I have the get to know you discussion forum. I'm going to upload the image at this time. And this is my legal elements. Once again, click the name, browse for the file, and that one is in my training folder. And I'm going to sort by type. And there it is, a JPEG. I don't need to change anything else, and submit. So if you believe that I'm going a little fast, you are going to be just as proficient as I am, because adding files and adding content, it goes very quickly once you know exactly what you're doing. So all of the options you don't have to read through because you already know what's there. I'm going to slowly create a YouTube video, which will be right here. And then I'm going to search for my apprehending a suspect and go here. All of the available topics come up, and this is the one I want to select. And I don't need to change any of the other options. Just click submit. And so right now, my agenda is almost complete. I ask them to post to the Get to Know You forum. I ask them to review this image, to view the Apprehending a Suspect video. I also ask them to review a lecture. So let me post that as well. That's another file, which goes very fast. My justice lecture. It's in my training folder right here. And so criminal law lecture right there. I don't need to change any options, and I'm going to click submit. So I'm almost done adding all of my content. I'm also going to add a quiz. Here's an assessment, week 1, tools, assessments right here, test, and I hope to see my sample quiz, and I do. So once your quiz has been deployed once, you will not see it in this list because it's already been deployed to a content area. Only the quizzes that have not been assigned to a content area will show up in this list. And then I just submit. And I'm not going to complete the test options at this time. And then here's my handy dandy quiz, and it's hidden from students because I didn't show those test options. So everything you want them to do, from looking at the discussion forum and posting, to looking at an image, to watching a video, to looking at the lecture, and even taking the sample quiz, is available to them. I'm also going to create a content folder. This is a lot of work I'm giving them in week 1. And the name of this folder is Additional Resources. And I'm going to submit. Inside of that folder, which I'm going to pull up, inside of that folder, here it is. It's going to go right here. Inside of that folder, I'm also going to add a web link. So I'm going to create some content. And I have a link to my web link, which is how to brief a case. And I'm just going to paste that here. How to brief a case. And I don't need to change any of my other options. And I'm going to click submit. And so my additional resources, if I go back to week 4, I see the agenda, I see the discussion forum, I see the nice image, I see the video, I see the lecture, I see the additional resources folder, and I see how to brief a case, and it goes to that particular tab. So I have everything. My students have everything that I need to give them. And I'm so pleased to be able to give them all of this different variety of content. I give them a test. I give them an assignment. That's one thing I didn't give them. Let me come up with the assignment, which is going to be assignment 4. Actually, I have one out there, assignment 5A, I'm going to call it. And let me go and get my content, which is right here, Control C. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that. I can attach a file to it, of course, which is my assignment. So I do have that in my training folder and criminal law assignment. I can assign a due date, which will be next week. I can give it some points. I can assign a rubric, which I have that out here already ready. If you want to look at your rubric, Blackboard checks the number of points on your rubric and matches it to the points that you say are possible. If you want to see the rubric, you can look at it here by clicking this. And here's the rubric that I already created out there. I'm going to close that. It is used for grading. And I want to show the rubric to my students with the actual scores. Couple of options: don't show it to students, show it only after you grade it, show it without the rubric scores or with. So I don't mind them seeing that. If you want to see the submission details, for example, you can give them multiple attempts. You can run this through a plagiarism tool, or you can submit it as a group submission or an individual. You can delegate the grading or enable anonymous grading. You won't see the names of the students whose papers you are grading. Or you can display the grades differently, which I'm going to do that as well. So there's a lot of options in actually creating an assignment. So this one, there's a lot here, but it's very beneficial to you. I'm going to make this available now and go ahead and submit. And there it is at the very bottom where I have a submission box. I have a paper attached to it where students can get more information. So your students are going to be so proficient and be able to work autonomously because you've given them all of the tools that they need with all of the content to be able to be self-sufficient with the agenda and the assignments and the links. I'm going to go ahead and continue. You can also create groups. If you want to create a group, you click in the control panel and go down to groups, users and groups. Go to users and groups and select groups. And then you have a couple of options where you can self-enroll. You can allow users to create their own group, or you create the group and they can sign up like a sign-in sheet. And then also you can manually enroll users into a specific group. So I'm going to show you both of those as well. Or you can create a group set. Only use single group if you're going to create one group. If you're going to create 10 groups and give them access to the same options, go ahead and create a group set. And that will allow you to create multiple groups that have the same parameters associated with it. So we'll do that today in just a little bit. Creating a discussion forum, I'm going to do that as well. You click on course tools, provide a name, provide a description, and then make the forum available is the default. You can certainly hide it, or you can make it available at some date in the future. You can click on the standard view, which means that students will view other posts before they post their own. And there are certain reasons why you want them to do that. If maybe the instructions were a little fuzzy to certain students, they can certainly look at someone else's content or posting and get a better idea and say, oh, right, now I know what to do. So there are good reasons to allow them to the standard view versus what I call the participant view, which does not allow them to see other postings. They must come up with their own original work before they can see other postings as well. In addition, this can be a gradable forum as well as a non-gradable forum. If it's a gradable forum, you do need to enter in the points possible. And then you can also have a due date associated with that. And then your discussion will appear in the needs grading section of the Grade Center, which is very helpful. And then you should delineate which points, how many postings that you need to see before it actually shows up as needs grading. For me, I would say 10 posts. So every time any student, not the same student, any student, as long as it numbers up to 10 posts, then it'll show up for me as it needs grading, as opposed to needs grading after every single time one student posts something. This one, subscribing. To subscribe, that means that students will receive an email to the postings to the thread. So that's very useful. Or you can indicate any create and edit options, which I just showed a little bit. Allow members to create their own threads, edit their own posts. I allow them to edit their posts, but not delete. And I don't allow anonymous posts unless we're all critiquing something that's been posted by all students. And then I allow their posts to be anonymous if they're going to give constructive criticism. And then this is your discussion forum. You can create smart views. A smart view shows you only the columns or rows that meet a specific criteria. So it can be based on performance or specific categories or just your troubled students. So it's very useful to create a smart view, and we'll do that today. So for example, under manage, you go to smart view, create smart view, you type a name for the smart view, much like you type a name for every content area. You can indicate that it's one of your favorites. That's how it shows up here. If it's not a favorite, it doesn't show down here. And then you can change the selection criteria, which means that the view of your grade center is based on performance. So that means how they performed on a specific exam, or it's based on looking at a specific user or a specific category. So I'm going to show you that as well. But the new smart view will appear in your list of available smart views. And then we're going to grade a couple of submissions in our needs grading section, of course. And then we're also going to look at the submission, possibly mark it up and annotate it, look at a grade rubric with our submission, as well as get some verbal or video feedback for our submission. So we have quite a bit to do. in this particular demo. And I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm just checking to see if there's any questions out there. Oh, does anything in Blackboard create an attendance, like a sign-in? Let me show you that. If you go down to course tools and then go to attendance, here's attendance for John Guest. If I go to the overall view, I can see all the days that he attended. I marked him present on May 4th, on May 21st, on May 22nd. I did not take attendance, and I did not take attendance for today. So for today, I can mark all students present, all students absent. I can mark the meeting exempt, or I can edit the meeting. So if this one, I wanted to take attendance on the 24th, I can edit this because I inadvertently, well, not on Sunday. If I want to take attendance for, say, next week on June 2nd, I can do that. And here I can mark all students present and then just mark them individually absent. That saves you a lot of time. Mark everyone present, and then if there's one or two that's absent, you can mark those one or two absent. So this is the way to do that if you're in a face-to-face course. Typically, you can do this in, right now, your virtual sessions. If you're in a virtual session, Collaborate does this for you automatically when they enter your session. So I'm going to go to all of my previous sessions, and then I'm going to go to this one, which is my test session, and I'm going to view the reports. That's all I need to do is go over here to the options, session options, view the reports. I see that I had 2 attendees, and I view the report. It was myself and Andrea, and what time she joined and what time she left, and how much time we both spent in that session. This is how Collaborate automatically takes attendance for you. So you don't have to do anything if you're hosting a virtual session. I hope I answered that question regarding, is there a way to tell on Collaborate if a student logged in and just didn't, they walked away or took a nap? Not that I know of. That's a good question. So if I go back here and I click here, notice that Andrea first logged in at 7:45 and then she left at 10:30, her last leave. But she also logged in at 8:55, and so she pretty much logged in twice. Once at 7:45 and then again at 8:55. So this time she stayed in for an hour, and then this time she stayed in for an hour and a half. So she was probably there most of the time. If she took a nap, you can't tell if they walk away from their screen unless they put the away status on their screen, and they probably won't do that. So there's no way if they taken a nap, or just like I don't know if people are out there sleeping on my lesson today. Okay. All right, great. So I do want to show you how to grade a couple of assignments. So I'm going to go to week 3, and I have something out here, but my graded assignments. So these are all the assignments that John Guest submitted. If I want to grade, I need to go to the Grade Center into my needs grading section. So right here. And I have two assignments out there that I need to grade. Here's one, and now it's loading. And I'm going to read John's submission. I can click the annotation tools. I can tell him in a comment, which I'll put there, this sentence is a fragment. Let's pretend, please fix this. So this is great if you want to annotate or give your students feedback before they hand in their final paper. So I don't know how many of you have a lot of time for that, but you can annotate and make comments all through. And then here I'm going to say, great research. And so that's one way and I can just keep on making comments, and I can draw lines, and then I can close. So that's right here. Annotations. Blackboard's coming out with something called Blackboard Annotate. It's going to be even better than this pretty soon. So this is very basic. The other one is superb. So I'll be showing you that as soon as it's rolled out sometimes this summer. So if I want to put a grade here, I can do so. If I want to look at the rubric, and I can show the description. So for a novice, the paper has to be weak. If they're competent, it has to exhibit a comprehension of the criteria, or if it's proficient, they need to demonstrate mastery of the concept. So I can show that. I can give them some feedback on each of these sections. So that's really nice to be able to do that. So here, I'm going to give them a 7 for being proficient in the formatting column, and I can give them some feedback too. Your assignment, your topic was a little light on the proof or support. So everyone should know what that means. Right here. And I think I had a question earlier. So let's see if I take this in here. In fact, can I make this a little bigger? Yeah, I can make this a little bit bigger. So that's kind of nice. I'm going to give them a 9 on organization, and I don't want to give them any feedback. And I'm going to give them a competent on grammar, and I don't want to give any feedback. It should be giving me a running total, which is right here, 21 out of 30. So I'm just going to round that up because it wasn't so bad. I'm going to give them a 24. I am also going to save that rubric. I can go into here. If I want to go back to this, or if I want to download it, I could do that. But I am looking at the rubric right here. Before I close this, I'm going to save the rubric. And then I'm also going to give them some overall comments. So I can look at the rubric and give them feedback, and then I can give them some overall feedback outside of the rubric. Specifically, I can attach a file. I can type some notes in here, which is right here. Your assignment is superb. And I think I figured out a way to give both text comments as well as a recording. So if I wanted to give a recording, I would record my comments, which is right here in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. John, you did a superb job. Keep up the good work. I am really rooting for you. I'm giving them those comments. So I'm going to stop. Comments are about 5 minutes long only. They cap off, or they're limited to 5 minutes. Click submit. I'm just going to leave the default name and insert the recording. So now I have text as well as a recording. You can leave both and then click submit. And there they both are. So both assignment and a recording text. And I could have also showed the video, and I can give them another recording as well. So that one is there. Just type on another line. And again, if I wanted to show my face right now, I could do that, and I'll record right here. Hi there, you're doing great. And then there's my video, save and exit. And I can insert that as well, so they will see both. And if I wanted to add some notes, I could add some instructor notes. This student really improved. I can put that there, and I'm getting ready to submit all of my comments. Here's a file that I can add, but I'm going to submit everything. And now this one is done. I'm going to return and see if there's been any comments. So will the box correction tool only be able to upload? It uploads any file type that Blackboard accepts. So that would be PDFs as well as Word documents, Excel files, any of those types. Yep, and Heather answered that. And PowerPoints too. Yep, any file type that Blackboard accepts, you can upload. I also noted that if they upload as a JPEG, you can't. That's interesting. So a JPEG cannot be written to annotated. That's an interesting, Heather. I did not realize that, but that may be true. Now, what they can do is put their JPEG inside of a PDF. If they go in Word and paste their JPEG and then save that as a PDF, then you'll be able to annotate and write on it. Okay, so I've given, yeah, so the same issue. I could write on PDF. I asked my students to upload to make it easy. That's correct. Perfect. Excellent. You guys have answered all of the questions. That's perfect. So let me just check, see how you're doing out there, which most of you are doing great. Can you give me some feedback as to how you're doing? Thanks, Heather. Very good. Everybody else is doing well. Maria, I think, let me give a poll and see if you're still out there and awake. And I'm going to post a poll. Let's go ahead and start the poll. There's a poll out there right now. There we go. All right. So there, all those responses are coming in. Okay, so you are out there. Only 6 persons hasn't responded yet. All right, I won't show you who those 6 persons are. Okay. All right, so let me go back to sharing my file. Thank you guys so much. You've been a great audience. And I'm going to go ahead. I believe we're at the end. Oh, I didn't show you groups. Yep, let me show you groups and smart views. Went straight to submission. So groups and smart views. To create a group, you're right down here at users and groups. Click create. Remember, manual enroll is when you are going to manually put a student in a specific group. I do use that sometimes if I know that I have a shy student or one that's a little bit less outgoing, and I'd like to put them in a group with nice students so that they make friends. I would manually enroll them, or I could self-enroll my students. So this would be group 1 sign up. And I can give them some instructions, of course. Please sign up for groups. And then I can make this group available. I can give them a sign up. These are all the tools they'll have access to. So discussion boards, email, the ability to exchange files, use a journal, use Blackboard Collaborate, blog, wiki. I can allow personalization. The name of the sign-up sheet is the group 1 sign up. And then the instructions, I tell them here, the maximum members, I only want 6 in the group. So once it gets to 6, that sign-up sheet is no longer available. Can show the group members to the students. They can look ahead of time and say, I don't want to be in a group with her, or I do want to be in a group with her. So maybe that's a good idea, maybe not. Hard to say. I can create a smart view, and we know what smart views are, and submit. So here's my group 1 sign up, or I can create a group set where I randomly allow Blackboard to create a group for me. And I didn't have any group members in that last one because it's a sign up. So the members won't go in until after they sign up. This is group 2 type. I can provide a description, make it available, give them all the tools that I think a group would need, give them a smart view, and then I can determine the number of groups that I want. I just want Blackboard to create 5 groups. And then if there's any leftover people, I can let Blackboard distribute them randomly into groups, or I can put the remaining ones in their own group. Now, if you have a class with 26 people, then that one person will be in their own group. So I don't necessarily want that option, but I will manually add them to the remaining groups, or I'll let Blackboard do that. So either I'll do it or Blackboard. I'll let Blackboard and click submit. And here's all my groups already done. This one has 1 group member because Blackboard randomly assigned the group, and I only have 1 student in this course. So that's why this one has been assigned. But the sign up, no one has signed up. And then the rest of these don't have any group members. With regard to our smart views, you're going to, of course, click on the Grade Center, uh, the full Grade Center, and then you're going to go to Manage, Smart View. And then I have all these smart views already out here because I created the group. So if I only wanted to see how one of my groups was doing, I have a smart view out here already just to see that one group. Okay, so I won't do that now. I'm going to go ahead and delete all these smart views. But what is a smart view, you ask? Let me delete. So a smart view allows me to see, like right over here, a filtered view of my grade center. So for me, that's going to be just John. I need to keep an eye on John. He's a special needs student. So I have one called just John, or I have one called troubled students. And this is my troubled students. And all I did was look at their quiz scores. And I can see that they're a troubled student. How about my assignments? Here's everything, just my assignments, Smart View. Or I can go and take a look at my final grade view and just look at my final grade, which is right here. And so it shows just those columns, so to speak. But here's my final grade view, and everything that's contained within my final grade or contributing to my final grade will also show. And so those are smart views, which I think you have. So I'm going to create one. So I'm going to have clinicals only, and I'm going to make it a favorite. And it's based on how well they're doing on their clinicals. So I would have to know which one of these are clinicals, but I can click just the clinicals. And for those students that are equal to, not equal to, or we might even say, let's see, equal to, oh, this is a text grade. That's a text one. Let me do a score. So for my score, I can do greater than or equal to, say, 70, or, show me all students who have clinicals less than 70. I can say these are my less than 70, less than 70%. And then I can show the clinicals or those who have greater than, this is greater than, sorry, greater than 70. Greater than 70, or I can show those that are troubled clinicals, less than 70, or I can show just the tests, all categories, nope, just show clinicals, or just show discussions, or just show tests for all users, not just John, and then I can submit, and that one will be here. Notice I have troubled students, incomplete exams, copy of final grade, exam one, these are the folks who failed exam one. Here's my clinicals, greater than 70. Smart View, so that one appears right here. To make it appear on the left menu, make sure you indicate that it's a Smart View, and it will appear right here. So you guys are doing well out there. I'm going to come back and make sure that you're okay. We did grade, we did the Smart Views, and we also did the groups. I can create a discussion. So here's my forum. I'm going to click discussion forum, which should be in your left panel. If not, you can come all the way down here to course tools and go to discussion board. So I'm going to click discussion forum, and I'm going to create the forum. And this one is my assignment one. Assignment one feedback. How well did you enjoy assignment one? And I'm at large and bold. And I don't need to change anything. Standard view, I'm not going to grade it. I just want to see it. They can subscribe to the thread. And I will not allow anonymous posts, although here I could, they can just give me feedback, but I can allow members to create their own threads and edit their own threads and submit. And then students will post. And I will read those posts and I can grade those posts if I made it a gradable form. In Collaborate, you do have breakout groups. So I'm going to show this to you now. Can you see this right here? The only thing, so you can put students into groups and they can have a private session without you, unless you add yourself to their group. So once you create breakout groups, and I'm going to leave you in tunnel vision because I can't let you see what I'm doing on the screen if I'm also in the session that I'm actually showing you. Does that make sense? So I can go to another tab, but I can't show you what's going on. In other words, they don't want you to see a session of your actual session, so to speak. So here's breakout groups here, and I can create, or actually all my groups have already been created for me. And the number of groups that I have, I can say I want 7 groups, and there'll be 4 groups of 3 and 3 groups of 2. So maybe 7 isn't a good number, and I'll have 3 groups of 6. That sounds like a good number. And right now it's on randomly assign. I can custom assign it. I can manually assign it. I didn't include the moderator because I can't be a part of every group. So I'd have to move myself back to the main room and then manually put myself in another group in order to see what they're doing. So the moderator can only be in one group at a time. So it's kind of like if you're in your face-to-face course and you go around the room and your students are sitting in a small group and they are strategizing and brainstorming. You'd have to physically walk to each group, and you can't be in each group at the same time in your physical classroom. So this is kind of the same idea. Here I am, I'm in the main room. I can't see anything going on in any of these groups. And if I want to add another member to the group, I can do that or create a new group. Okay, so I'm going to delete those 2. All right, so in order for you to see what's on my screen here, I'm sorry it has to be in the tunnel vision. I'm going to go check if there's any chat. Yes, the groups are breakout rooms, correct. Yes, that's what they are, Parsa. They are not like groups in Collaborate. Groups in Blackboard, but not groups in Collaborate, correct. You can't put them in groups without them just being separate and private and away from you. Are the groups for homework or perhaps study sessions? I've seen instructors use them in different ways. Homework is good. Study sessions is good. Also, I've seen instructors just do private conferences in this way. So all students were in the main room all at the same time, but the instructor would have private conferences in breakout groups with one individual student, and she would tell all of them to log in. You have a time period to log in between 11 and 11:15. And so all of the 3 students would log in within that time, and she would do 5-minute sessions with each of the students at that time. So it's really good, I would say, if you want to keep things private. Does that mean they have a group during an exam? And share. If they're taking an exam, let's see, are they taking an online exam? If they're taking an online exam, they won't be in a breakout group. But if they're in their own group and they're taking an exam together, a group exam, that's certainly an option. Is that what you mean, Vika? Can you expand on what you mean there? Yes, okay, perfect. Excellent. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. They can take a group exam together. That's a really good idea. So I've seen different instructors use it in different ways, and other instructors have embraced it. So it really is a matter of personal preference. And I'm going to go back to my class now. I think we're almost done. And you guys have been so awesome. I'm going to share my file. So we did our audio and video feedback. I created groups, showed you smart views, did the discussion. We graded a submission, and we provided audio feedback. And I do have other courses using Collaborate will be coming up, and creating online exams.